Not a HUD program. The homes will be available to families whose income is not more than 60% of the area median. Units will be offered for home ownership at the end of a 15-year compliance period. So there are rental units for 15 years. At the end of that, the possibility is to sell them to folks who are income eligible. They are designed as infill development. They're designed to fit into the neighborhood, each with their own front door. The proposal is for 7, 2, and 2.5-story buildings. Each unit will have its own front door. The project need has been demonstrated as part of the application through a market study. It also is, the fact that 25% of households in Union County are living on $25,000 or less indicates the acute need that we've got in the county for affordable housing in the county. One of the things that I've heard from folks is that there isn't really an acute need here, and the danger is that we will have folks coming in from outside the area to fill these slots. And I can tell you, I can't tell you strongly enough that that is not our intention here. We have more than enough need of your neighbors here in the county.
I'm telling you folks, business downtown is going to be very, very difficult. We've seen 2 of our major stores leave to go to this new development. It is very hard. And downtown Lewisburg, from the business standpoint, we pay more taxes because if we own a business in downtown Lewisburg, you pay more. You pay more in your electric, you pay more in your gas, or anything that you use, any utility, you pay more. All right? Now, as far as I see, this has been mandated that we must have low-cost housing within a close striking distance of downtown Lewisburg. We also have at least, I don't know how many houses downtown which will lie vacant because of the Bucknell decision. Okay? So we must struggle through that as well.
As regards the planned development of affordable housing in the tract south of the rail trail and adjacent to the Penn House Commons development, I've heard 2 concerns raised, at least 2. One concern is the accusation that this plan was made without public input, but the Housing Authority is a public institution. It makes its decisions in public meetings. A second expressed concern is that the area doesn't need more low-income housing, but instead needs more senior citizen housing. These are not mutually exclusive. As I understand it, the planned housing would be available to low-income seniors as well as to other low-income residents. Some residents could be Section 8, but the development is not exclusively for Section 8 housing. Some audience members at the East Buffalo Supervisors meeting, not speaking, I must say, for directly spokesman of the Susquehanna Valley Conservatives, but clearly allied with it, were concerned that low-income housing of any sort would draw in outside criminal elements. But we already have several such housing developments around the county, both publicly and privately developed. And there is no evidence that crime is any higher there than elsewhere in the county. The vast majority.
That's not true. That's not true.
However, to speak with Bruce, what I explained to him was it really falls on how well the projects are managed. And that's the main issue. Well, we had good managers and good relationship with the police, which I would assume would be the case here, especially with housing having the operation. We've had nothing but good things, come out of that. And it did service a portion of the population that needed that type of place to live. Otherwise, they're going to be living in other housing type things. I can't really say. I heard somebody say about where there's more crime in housing or not. One of the things that I did some research on, the issue a lot of times with low income or Section 8 housing, as it's defined, or HUD housing, is just like this one. It tries to be put in a neighborhood, and the neighborhood fights that. So it ends up, the housing unit gets placed into a crime area to begin with, and then they're already faced on a downhill side with the fact they're in a crime-ridden neighborhood to begin with.
Joe Manzi, I had something to do. I'm bewildered by all this. If there's a person who is in need of low-income housing, I don't see what the difference means if he comes from Danville, Lewisburg, Sunbury, or Williamsport. There's a person who needs it. Excuse me? No.
You just need to state your name for the
Joe
record,
Manzi.
if you would. I'm sorry.
And second, I've lived here now, and on another comment before, I come from a place where 30 units fit very nicely on 2.2 acres, and they were not crowded, and they were middle-class people. So it's all out of what you're used to, what you consider livable space. I've been here about 10 years, I've seen tremendous changes. The traffic is awesome. We have Walmart went up, restaurants went up, motels went up, housing up Smoketown Hill went up, keeps on going and growing and growing. All of this, and not an uproar, Now, because you talk about poor people, I'm sad to say this community is outraged. No, excuse me, let me finish. And I don't understand this fear or discomfort of having poor people in your community. I come from a poor family, and there were no criminals. I taught for 30 years mostly poor children, and the vast majority of them were not criminals. I keep hearing these circulars come around about our rural values, our Christian values from these politicians. I'm questioning what are those values. I think this community can absorb, assimilate, and support 30 low-income families. And if it can't, it's the shame, not on them, but the community. And that's all I have to say.
I have been in the real estate business for almost 40 years. I also will be looking out at the townhouses, whatever we want to call it. I have no problem with having affordable housing. It just does not need to be concentrated there. It's going to bring everybody's property value down that's adjacent to it. My question is, who's paying the taxes on these buildings? Is it the county?
It's me. It's me.
It's the taxpayers. You know, we are having people leaving this community because of the taxes. They do not want to pay the Lewisburg taxes. So it's not fair to anybody in this room that is paying Lewisburg taxes to also have another burden.
That someone is doing something wrong against the program, I look into it, and that person is terminated. I had 3 termination letters go out this week based on information that I received. I followed up, verified that someone was doing something they shouldn't do, and they're all being terminated from the program. I take this money very seriously, and as I said, I am only given X amount, and I want to help as many people as possible with that money. And we run a very clean program. We coordinate with the Central Keystone Council of Governments, who is the local code agency. They do all of our inspections. If I get a report that someone has a couch sitting on their front porch, I report it to the codes office, and they are down there, and it is removed. I have no doubt that we can run this project like we run all the other complexes that we have.
There's not one complex that we have that I personally would not live in, and I wouldn't want my mother, brother, father, or sister to live there. And the people that we're looking to house are the people that you're going into the drugstore, that clerk maybe that doesn't make much money. That's who we're looking to serve. We're not looking to serve, you know, people from all over. That's who we're looking to serve. The people that are within that income limit. And let me tell you, there's a lot of people in our county that have to live on the little bit of money that we're talking about. And that's who we're housing.